Here because this is I don't know if you want to say a higher point in New York City from this vantage point or whatever. So before it got too late and the sun started going down or fading at least a little bit more than it regularly would, I thought that I would bring you guys over here. So what you can or you may can't see, depending on whatever you're doing, and you can even see behind me, there's smoke everywhere that you can imagine, like literally. And this smoke, it has a smell to it. It's a char smell to it. It's almost comparable to like you putting out a fire pit or putting out a barbecue grill. Say you put that out, say you put that barbecue grill out or whatever the case may be, that's what it smells like. That's the best way I can compare it to you. And the whole sky, like literally anywhere you walk in the city right now. I was earlier in a whole different borough, and now you guys see that it's quite there. So I'm going to turn this camera around and let you guys see. Now, usually I just want to give you this before I turn the camera around. Usually, and the reason I came here specifically is because you can usually see the whole New York City skyline from right here, at least a considerable amount of it. All right, and let me show you what you can see now. Almost nothing. All what you see right there, and I'm zooming in as best as I can. Usually you would see the city skyline from the left-hand side. You could almost see one of the buildings kind of poking out right there towards the left. You guys look really, really, really good. But it's almost indistinguishable as well. But if you look over here, you'll see this whole entire, the sun is having almost a problem there. Look, the sun is even glared and being hindering from shining. Now this is in a whole different borough, and like I said, I want to emphasize that. I want to heavily emphasize that so you guys get the clear picture that this is citywide. It's literally citywide. And there goes that char smell that I smell again. And I think the higher elevations that you go, like one thing I know for sure, you smell the char smell even more. Earlier when I was at another location, I was just getting off the train. I mentioned to you guys and other people, they may mention to it too. You may hear something about it. We actually saw ashes falling out the sky. I lied to you not. But this is all smoke from Canada. Canada has over 130 forest fires and wildfires going on currently. I guess I don't know how that happens. You know, sounds like to me somebody deliberately set those fires. But oh, that's another conversation. We're not going to do that. And I'm going to point this straight up, guys, because you can see. And I'm going to kind of pan and do a whole 360 for you so you guys can actually see how murk the sky is, especially in comparison to right there. That's the sun. When I woke up this morning, Reese said, hey, what's going on in that? Reese said, when I woke up this morning, I had the worst headache. It could actually taste the smoke. Yeah. Finally, about an hour ago, I went to sleep about an hour ago. I hope everyone is doing well. Be careful out there. Yeah. I'm not going to be here much longer either, whatever. I just wanted to make sure I showed you guys this. But yes, be aware of this. The mayor, he's put together a little strategic plan of having people, because it's going to be here about 2 or 3 more days. That's what they're projecting in the trajectory. And it might be longer than that. Who knows how long it takes smoke to subside. But the mayor has put in his orders, and he's asking people not to be out much. I can understand that. He's asking people not to breathe and inhale. Don't travel if you don't have to, etc., etc., etc. But y'all know me. I always have the footage. Always got to have the story. I've covered everything. So I wanted to make sure you guys got it. So please appreciate me, because I am out here at my own risk for you guys. So make sure you hit up the Cash App, $STRINGERBELL80. Again, I'm going to reiterate. Right here, when you see that right there, you can usually see the whole New York skyline. I mean, from edge to edge. Right here, that's a bridge. You guys can clearly see that poking out right there outside of the shrubbery and the trees that really need to be chopped down, because it looks like a jungle over here. When y'all agree, let me walk over here a little bit more, because that looks like a jungle over there. I'm waiting for Tarzan to jump out. Something's going to happen. Oh, God. Anyway, you can usually see the whole New York City skyline from here. Right now, it's being billowed and covered by smoke. And once again, in case you're not in the know, this smoke is coming from Canadian forest fires that they're having currently. And so it's a lot of, billowing smoke everywhere. Like, I can't even describe it, y'all. the smell. The best way I can say the smell is, and everybody else is saying it is, because one of my subscribers just called in right here, I think it was Reese. The best way I could describe it is it smells like a charred smell that you would put when you pull out a grill or when you pull out a fire pit or something like that after you barbecue. That's reminiscent of the smell, and I'm smelling this smell from borough to borough. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna try to shoot down to Brooklyn because I want to see what it looks like down in Brooklyn. Right here in the Bronx, I know this is home stepping ground. You know what I mean? But I want to go over to somewhere I'm not so foreign with. Well, a little foreign over in Brooklyn. Y'all see me go over to Brooklyn. I went over there to Brooklyn to be on scene for the pastor when he had his little thing, coincidentally with the mayor. And I went down to the church, and if y'all watched that live, when I went down to the church that day, literally there was a man that pulled up, put a sign in there and said, yo, this church is not going to be open any longer for congregations. Because I think it was the second time something that happened in there. The first time, y'all remember the preacher in Brooklyn, he got robbed, and then I went there. I went to his church. I stayed there. I did a live in front of his church. It was amusing to say the best. Well, guys, what you're looking at right here is you're looking at the New York City skyline currently as it sits, billowing from smoke everywhere for the Canadian forest fires. And that's the sun trying its best to peek out right now, and it's having a struggle. All right, guys, make sure y'all go back and watch this on the rebroadcast. I don't want to stretch it out unnecessarily. Plus, I was practicing my lyrics and all that stuff or whatever, so I can deliver y'all some more music. Hopefully the people with health issues put those masks back on to be safe. Yeah, I got my mask in my bag, but like really, that mask ain't gonna do shit for you. This is worse than COVID. COVID, you know, every 1 or 3 people would intentionally, I just want to answer that. Initially, we were using the mask for. I mean, people were using masks, don't get me wrong, but they wasn't using them at the capacity that the whole entire and international community had to use them. You know, this is something right here that's just specific to our demographic. It may spread out to Jersey, there's a chance. It may spread out to my way, Connecticut, there's a chance. But right now, where it sits, it's those masks are really not going to do you any what. It's so thick. Like I can't even emphasize to you guys. It's so thick that it's no way possible to avoid it. You get me? So I mean the mask, yeah, for old folks, kids, I see it. But it's got a charged smell to it. So I'm wondering once again, like I said before I cut this off, guys, how many forest fires are actually burning in Canada, and who set them? All right? That's how the Canadians said it. They say, all right, who set them? All right? You know what I mean? Because of 130 forest fires at one time, that's kind of suspicious to me. So I don't know, man. Maybe when they're deliberately set, who knows? But right now, what I'm showing you guys is literally what you're seeing. Don't ever do that again. Literally, what I'm showing you guys right now is the whole New York City skyline as it sits right now. And like I said, it looks crazy. All right, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. Like I said, I might shoot to Brooklyn. I think I got enough time. Make sure y'all hit up, let me turn this around. Make sure y'all hit up my Cash App, man. I'm out here, man. Like I said, I give y'all real footage. I give y'all real in-time things. This is something the international community is talking about right now. You feel me? So make no mistake about it. That's the stuff that I'm more favored to and reporting and stuff like that. And I got something real special coming up for y'all this Sunday. And that's hopefully if y'all contribute. And then I got something real dope for y'all. Somewhere in the near future, what would it be? Today's the 7th, so let's say 5 days. You know what I mean? So y'all know me, I go on location, I go to these places, whether it's a Trump arraignment, the Jonathan Majors arraignment, I've been to them all. And I want to clear something up. So I didn't waste my time because I later on figured this out. Jonathan Majors actually appeared in court for his first appearance via, what is that shit, Zoom? So I didn't even know that, right? So now I'm like, okay. So that's why he wasn't there. Because somebody had said to me, number one, I was at the courthouse, someone had said, oh no, he's already been here and left. So they probably didn't know either. They were just telling me that, this would be telling me that. But there were still news crews out there, as you can see. So I go to all these dope places. I'm gonna give y'all another view in like 2 seconds, so don't go nowhere. I'm gonna show you from another angle. I go to real places, man. I don't waste this opportunity and all the followers I got gossiping and beefing Like, that shit is whack. Like, you're gonna beef with the wrong person here on YouTube, and it's gonna be curtains. You know what I'm saying? As they say, you'll talk about the wrong person on here on YouTube, and they're gonna pull up. I'm telling you, be careful. Y'all gotta stray away from things. But this is the New York City skyline, and even right there, as you see, that's the bridge. And that bridge, you can barely see it in the background. Here's the top of it right here, and all that smoke is completely covering it. Now I'm gonna go somewhere else. Give me another second here. I'm gonna give you another view here, and you're gonna see it from another angle. They're saying it's gonna take, well, within 2 to 3 days. I'm saying probably a freaking week. They're saying that the smoke is gonna dissipate a bit, and you won't be able to see it anymore. Well, at least not how you're seeing it right now. Just give me 1 second. I'm gonna turn this around for you guys one more time, so I give you even a better view. Like I said, the whole New York City skyline is covered, and this is all smoke from over 130 forest fires going on simultaneously right now. That's what they say. Oops, that's what they say in Canada. So this is just crazy. All right, guys, that's my time. I would say we had that smoke here on Monday. Yeah, I want to say that actually. Some of the Midwest states, I just got familiar with that because Annette, she lives in the Midwest. A lot of the Midwest states are now actually getting the same thing. They're getting the same thing. So, you know, them, Detroit, Detroit here. Let me give you a little geographic upset. Where I live at too, we're very close to the Canadian border, right? More specifically, Elmira, New York. For right here in New York City, and I say the same for probably Connecticut too. But once you go past Elmira, you go into the first point of Canada. There's a sign that's sitting there waiting for you. I've been up there, I know what I'm talking about. Shout out to Nova Scotia. Now, that smoke that's billowing, it's coming from the southern portion of the state, so it makes sense. And it comes in a trajectory that comes right down to us south. So everything from Boston, Massachusetts, everything to Rhode Island, everything to CT, even everything in New York, but specifically New York, it sits at the tip, where our states sit more further over to the right, the New England states, if that makes any sense. So we're not so subjected to the smoke so much, but I would guarantee you that Maine is, I would guarantee you that like New Hampshire, all that stuff is, you know what I mean? Shout out to Caribou, Maine, the most coldest place I've ever been in my fucking life. And shout out to my friend Josh I grew up with. Shout out to him for taking me up there. I've never had no cold. Don't ever go to, no, I ain't gonna say that. It's cold up there, put it that way. It's like below degrees cold, double digits below degrees. I ain't never felt that, not even in CT or New York. And it gets cold here, trust me, cold. The other part of geography I wanted to give you guys is the same relation to how the smoke is billowing in. The same goes for Detroit. Right there, you go through some points of Detroit or Michigan in general, and I said Detroit, but I meant Michigan. You go into 3 points of Michigan, and you're going to run into the same thing, the smoke, because it's a very short distance to the Canadian border. Same thing goes for many other states in the Midwest, et cetera, et cetera. So they're getting their dosage of it too. So when I say this is a national thing at this point, or they consider that, I think if it's more than 8 states involved. So yeah, at this point, I would say so. I would say so, you know. So yeah, that's the gist of this. Like I said, I came up here, guys, because this is one of the best, in my opinion, this is one of the best places to get it. Other than that would be the Brook. I ain't gonna tell y'all that. Fuck that. Somebody head down there. Nah. The Mayor Adams has issued a warning for breathing and things like that or whatever. I think a lot of that is addressed to elder people, but I think as well as my age demographic, you know what I'm saying, and all of us in our 20s, 30s, and you know, and shit. So you know what I'm saying? We ain't exempt from that either. So please note that I'm taking risks. Get out here and get this footage to y'all. So make sure y'all hit up my Cash App, man. $STRINGERBELL80. Oh, also I had a young woman donate $50 a day. I want to tell her thank you. Also, I want to tell my other, and I'm going to say y'all name correctly, so don't worry about it. I'm going to do it on the next one. I want to say the other homegirl that donated $20 Sunday. You know, sometimes I don't even be checking the Cash App, to be honest with you, and I need every dime. So trust me, I got some bigger things I want to do than this. And if y'all know if you see it, but make sure y'all hit up that Cash App, man, because I always thank everybody. As y'all can see, I'm moving, I buy new equipment, and you know what I'm saying? Like right now, this is something I bought with my money. I've got 7 of these in the bag. You see this little thing right here? This keeps my battery charged while I'm talking to you guys, you know what I'm saying? So shout out to Ned, TMH Global, and a couple other people that just constantly, you know what I'm saying, support me, support the channel, or whatever. And I want to also thank Beulah, the wife, I think that's what her name is. She left in the comments. She left in the comments today. I put up a post in the community section. You guys go check it out. The comments still there. And I put up a snapshot of my monthly views, and I didn't even really try last month. Like last month was definitely like YouTube Studio let me know, because you're producing less videos than usual, your numbers. I was like, shit. I'll post that too if y'all want to see it. I was like, shit. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, wasn't really much going on. I ain't no gossip blogger like that. Like I put up some things that are relevant, but I'm not no gossip blogger. Like, hey girl, guess what he did, girl? You know what I mean? I think it's a demographic for that. Grown-ass men shouldn't be gossiping. That's just me. You know what I'm saying? I don't care who's sleeping with who. I don't care who doing what with who. You know what I mean? And why do you care? You sitting at home in Toledo, Ohio, so fucking you'll never beat these people. You gotta be here, LA, Miami, Atlanta. You feel me? Like if they talking, it's different. You know what I'm saying? They go to the clubs. These people show up there. Not to say that somebody can't show up in Huckabuck, Mississippi, but I've heard bloggers talking about like superstars, you know what I mean? And then you ask them like, where you live at? Oh, that's where I live. I live in Chattanooga. I can't make this up. I've had people argue with me, and I'm like, I'm right here. I live in the New York City tri-state, and they will argue with you like literally. Let me just go off subject for a minute, whatever. I'm gonna make this into something different just for 1 second, because this is, you guys gotta hear this. I have had people argue with me being in the music industry and have been in the music industry for 17 years. I will have people argue with me about artists I know, artists that are friends of mine. They will argue with me about this shit. And they be like, You know how I know? Why? Because so-and-so, she did the documentary. And I'll be like, the documentary? And they believe it. They believe it. Look. I'm gonna turn the camera around for 1 second. Let me give y'all a little thing, all right? If this is the first time you see me, whatever, here's a blessing. All right, so I know this for a fact. You bloggers have made, now listen to me, vloggers, okay? I'm talking about you big bloggers. A lot of people watch me. I'm pretty sure Choke No Joke get this. I'm pretty sure Big Face Gary, Rockefeller Records, both of them, they get it. I'm sure Sean Prez get it. I'm sure Rich Dollars get it. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to them, the Boys Club, you know what I'm saying? All that. I'm sure they get it. But I want to know, do you get it? Because listen, this is what's going down. You guys have been doing this thing where you've been interviewing people for about the past, I don't know, 10 years now. You know what to expect as an artist when you go sit down with these people. And you know what the questions they're going to ask when you go, because you've seen it on YouTube, right? So if you watched the interview or conducted an interview as a YouTuber, what makes you think that I ain't watched your videos that you produced as a YouTuber, as an artist? So here, check the segue. So what happens is, these guys, they think they're slick, they think they're gonna get some type of information or whatever. The people are prepared, and they learn to do the segue. Because when listen, the 17 years I worked with Puff, I can say year 1, they had us press ready. I've had people yell at me for things I said in the press. I had somebody yell at me during the trial with Puff and Sean. I had somebody yell at me during the time with somebody at, I think it was like one of PBS, they weren't on big network, and they had asked me, what does BIG stand for? Because we had the signs out there. We was in front of MTV at the time. And I was like, I got stuck. I don't know what the acronym was for. I didn't at the time. It was like, you know what I mean? I was like, what? I was young. So anyway, these artists and myself and others, we've all been press ready for years. You understand? That's why you think I've never been on here giving you the scoop. Oh, so-and-so. I done seen people do tons of shit. 17 years, what haven't I seen? Never. I got offered $5,000 from one blogger. If you guys don't know, let me tell you this quick story. I'm going to add this into what I'm talking about. So there's one particular blogger that y'all know very well that offered me $5,000. Now, I'm going to give you a hint. He say he don't pay his guests. So this one particular vlogger offered me $5,000, right? I took a screenshot of the shit, all that shit, because it was set up in a way that I had to accept it first. You know what I'm saying? And then they had to release it. They did it very strategically, so I couldn't just take the money. I had to do a set of steps to get the money. Get me? So I still didn't do that shit. And I needed that money at the time. This was at the height of COVID. Y'all remember, this is how I got my start on here. This is how I got so big so quick. This is why I got 3.6 million fucking views in a short amount of time that people been on here for 10 years. I did it in, what, a year and a half? So listen to me when I tell you this. Vloggers. This is the best piece of advice I'm going to ever give you from somebody from the music industry. We all have been press ready. The problem was, people didn't realize how smart some of you motherfuckers had got. Well, I won't even say smart. I'll say slick. Is that fair? How slick some of you have become. So what happened was, the artists now, they go to these interviews and they take them on just like they're going to an interview at Power 105. They take them like they're going on with an interview at Hot 97. I have to, because I have to be prepared, because now those radio stations are basically mimicking the same questions that these vloggers are asking. Even the fucking news does the same thing. They're mimicking what YouTubers are saying. They're mimicking what TikTokers are saying. And they're mimicking it day after day after day after day, and it contrives about whatever and however you want to put it. So me as a YouTuber, and me being somebody formerly in the music industry for so long, I started picking that up a while ago. And other people started picking it up. They say, whoa, you know what? You got a point here. These guys are notorious, like vicious. Some of you vloggers are way more vicious than anybody on any major network could ever be. Tucker Carlson's or anybody else. You understand? Please hit that like button if you understand what the fuck I'm saying right now, please. Because I'm very passionate about this, and I hate that some of you guys have hundreds of thousands of followers. Look, I got 15,000 followers. Strong. You know what I'm saying? But I hate that you guys take the advantage, you don't take advantage of using your channels to say more. You know what I'm saying? Or moving around. You just sit in your room and collect donations. And then guys like me that's actually on the move or whatever. I took my donations and I said, all right, let me give people a show then. You pay for a show, you see what I'm saying? And I know this city, I know the whole damn tri-state like the back of my hand. I grew up here. You understand what I'm saying? I know nooks and crannies you wouldn't even ever fucking believe. You get me? So, being that it's somebody that knows this fucking city, when something's going down, don't y'all always notice that I get there real fucking quick? It's a reason for that. One more time, let me show you guys the New York City skyline. Please keep that in mind, vloggers, especially you big vloggers that know me, know of me, etc., etc. Hey, who's that right there? I'm sorry. Hey, 305 Capricorn. I live in Long Island. It was horrible up this way too. Sky's completely red. Yeah, I'm in Harlem right now, and you know, right now, usually you would see the whole skyline right here. You know, you see the whole New York City skyline. I've been over here 1,000,001 times. You can barely, I'm gonna walk over here so you guys can see how dense it is. You can barely see the bridge now that the sun's going down a little bit more. You can barely see the bridge, but yeah, the sun was up, I had flashed it. Matter of fact, there it is right there. And it's bright red, just as you said, you know? There it is right there. It's bright red now. So yeah, you definitely live in LI. Yeah, it's bad. 305 Capricorn. It's supposed to dissipate in a couple of days here. That's what they're saying. But you know what I mean? Hi, Mr. Meteorologist. This is the same motherfucker that tell you it's gonna rain on Tuesday, and all of a sudden it's sunny as shit. You know, it's a scary. Bounced off the Jesus Christ, you know. I'm sorry about that, y'all. I did something weird just a minute ago. I actually cut the broadcast off. How the heck did I do that? You know, every time they do these updates for YouTube, it's terrible. Here's the skyline again, y'all. Let me just make sure I got everything together here. I hate when they do these updates for YouTube because I gotta take them. Or sometimes it affects my views, it affects y'all commenting and everything else. Once again, if you're just now tuning in, this is the New York City skyline live from Harlem as it sits right now currently. All this smoke is billowing in from Canada and 130 forest fires they have simultaneously going on. Ain't that odd? It sounds like dirty Mike and the boys. Dirty Mike and the boys been out there, if you get what I'm saying. Certain crowd been out there. I'm dead serious. That's what happens in California. In California, my sister live out there. I know what I'm talking about. In California, they'll have people that are not necessarily homeless, but wacko motherfuckers that will go and purposely start fires. You ain't necessarily crazy because you're homeless. You ain't a bad person because you're homeless either. But these are motherfuckers. Those are different. And you talking to somebody that stayed at the homeless shelter during the pandemic, so never forget that. I keep that shit a buck. So keep in mind, man, out of all the things that have been happening here in New York City simultaneously that I can remember in the past 4 years, I mean, we had a measles outbreak, I remember, that was pretty vivid. It was going on shortly before COVID-19 even came in. And then after that, we had a whole 2-year period when we just all went to sleep. I mean, literally, just all went to sleep. It was like, fuck it. Can't do nothing. I remember I went to the grocery store and I still got it out. I'm going to throw up some of those videos. Well, actually, no, I'm not. Because that's another piece that I'm putting together for you guys or whatever. That'll be on the Patreon page or whatever. Guys, if you're just now tuning in, make sure you hit the Cash App, $STRINGERBELL80. The link is in the description box. There's also a PayPal link there, a GoFundMe link there, and also an Amazon wish list. Yo, bless me if anything, because I'm out here as a hazard to my health right now. There is a mandate well, it ain't a mandate, but it's provisions put in effect right now by the mayor, our mayor, Mr. Adams, and he's saying don't come outside, don't move around, wear a mask or whatever. I'm saying this. Listen, I done been around. I went to camp for years. I had lived in the suburbs. You know what I'm saying? Growing up, we done went to Rhode Island and started bonfires up there in Westerly. Listen, when you put out some smoke and it's at that capacity of that length of that extreme, it's not going out and it's not going to billow very quickly. I don't care how long you're talking about, unless you put the fires out. So if the fires go out up there, then the smoke will stop. But if the fires ain't out, all 130 of them, but they're probably Dirty Mike and the boys said, if they don't put all those fires out simultaneously, and even after then, it'll still be smoke billowing. So how you say 2 or 3 days it'll be gone? That doesn't even make sense. Like I said, my sister lives in California. She lives in Modesto, California, 909. It's very hill, desert. It's right outside of Oakland. She's lived out there for years. The rest of her family too. So, you know what I mean? I know fucking California. I've been there enough times. And I'm telling you, you'll have areas in California that are just like this. You go to the hillside or whatever, you can look over the hill and you will see this for miles in her area. Not in LA and SoCal, but in her area you will. There's only certain points you can see, like the skyline, like you're seeing like right here. There's only certain points. Usually those are in Calabasas, the hills or whatever. Those are elevated areas, if you want to say in that whole SoCal area. Everything else is very flat. You understand? So if you like in Calabasas, North Hills, shit like that, then it's elevated. And you'll be able to see the whole LA skyline, all that. Trust me. But as you guys are seeing right now, this is New York City skyline as it sits. Like I said, one more time, I'm going to advocate for myself. Y'all make sure y'all hit up that Cash App. Support me, man. Like I said, I take y'all to real places. If you're just tuning in, I do everything from the Trump arraignment. Who else? I was in somebody else's arraignment, too. I'm trying to say his name. Jonathan Majors. Many of y'all know him as Kane. I'll be back there for that. Who else? Trump Tower, you name it. I everywhere. I'm everywhere. So just go down below, look at some of my older videos. I go almost everywhere. I try to report on real things. I don't just sit around, snapping my hands and hold on one second. I just want to turn the camera around before I do this. Hey girl, you know what I'm saying? I ain't doing that all day. And there ain't no shot at the LBGT community. I'm talking about men that act feminine. Men that are online day after day just gossiping. You ain't got nothing to offer to the, you know what I mean? Nothing to offer to the conversation. I don't rock like that. You know what I mean? So I do a couple when we talk about shit or whatever, but all that gossiping about people. I've seen what it's done to people. I've seen the intentions that a lot of people have had too. Some people had the intentions of a certain known woman that we all know, you know what I mean, of abusing this woman's traction to actually gain something. And what they've gained is pages that they never would have had if they got on and simply just talked about themselves. And I say this all the time because I'm one of these people. I got on YouTube and I got quick, famous, whatever the hell else you want to call. I got a video right now. I'm just talking about me and what happened to me at the time. And that video's got over 250,000 views. If you got on here 9 times out of 10 and talked about your life, unless you're doing something exciting, nobody give a shit. And that's just the truth. So what they do is they borrow people's personalities to garner a page. And then once they get that page, they have no other choice because now you're deep in the game. So now you got to consistently talk about that person, and each upload got to be worse and worse. Each live got to be worse and worse. You know what I'm saying? To the point where now your only sole objective is to destroy somebody. And I've seen a lot of people in the culture do that. I think it's a disgusting fucking habit. I've seen whites do it. Many of y'all, that's where y'all get it from. I saw Paris Hilton get bashed for fucking years. Perez Hilton, y'all remember that guy? Y'all remember Perez Hilton? He still vlogs. Shout out to Perez Hilton. He's definitely one of the innovators. I can't take that away from him. Perez Hilton, and check this out. Perez Hilton used to go in on Paris Hilton. He parodied her name just for that reason, in my opinion. You know, and if anybody remembers when Paris was popping, and that's really where Kim Kardashian comes from, because she was a tag-along buddy. That's the truth. Kim Kardashian was a lot of people's tag-along buddy. That's how she made a career. She tagged along, you know. But I'm sorry, I ain't mean to take no shots at her. I'm sorry, Kanye. Even still, I got too much respect for Kanye. Shout out to Kanye West. I was there even when they were attacking you, so always remember that. Always remember that, yay. All right, so check this out. I lost my page for 2 weeks because of Kanye West. That's all fact. They flat. You can't put this up. Why not? It's an Asian man telling the truth about. I said, yo, listen, this man, y'all remember that video? It was a video with this older Asian man, and he was breaking down how Kanye actually had a point. And in the video, he's in he's in the front of his computer. He had like a blue shirt on, black, whatever. I'll throw up the screenshot for y'all. And it got a lot of traction. It wasn't until it started getting traction that they said, oh, no, you can't say this. And the only thing he was doing was really confirming. He said, well, this company's owned by this company. This company's owned by this company. This company's owned by these. And each name was Berowitz, Horowitz. That's a shit. You know what I mean? So I put up that column, did a little commentary on it. You know what I'm saying? I know this because while I used to work at, the first place I worked at was BMG, the Bertelsmann Music Building. Bertelsmann Music Group. It's a German conglomerate. But I'm telling you guys, like, it's just wild, crazy. So any fucking way, let me move on back to the conversation. Sometimes I bellow off and go off a conversation here. I don't like to do that to y'all. If people be like, what the hell you say? TMH Global, what's going on? David, I remember that video. Yeah, man. You remember that video? And that dude, he laid it down. Like, he had every last company. He had the name. He had the owners. He was the one that first that I really got hip to, that Balenciaga was actually offered ownership by one of these groups. I guess they were acquired or ascertained from them in some type of acquisition a couple years ago. So I was like, wow, I didn't know that, you know. I thought they were still based in, I think it was either Italy or Spain, one or two. I think Balenciaga was in Spain. So I was like, yo, that's crazy. So based off, this is what I say about YouTube, and I'm harboring a lot of people. Like, if you're on here and you're absolutely telling the truth, there's no, I don't know how to explain it. There's no traction. When I throw up something about Cardi B, when I throw up something about your favorite rapper getting killed, that shit gets view after view after view after view after view. I throw something up and I'm like, look, this is what y'all need to do to separate this stuff that's going on, blah, 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 right? You'll see that shit. I had one video, I had that shit up for a month. I got a solution to that now, though. I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go back and start reintroducing y'all to a lot of things that I've said. And I'm gonna make sure they got the date and the timestamp attached to them, which is very easy for me to do within those, because it's very imperative and paramount to me that y'all know dates of when I'm saying this stuff. And I appreciate TMH Global saying that. V Bennett, what's going on? You know what? I can let me do this right now. Let me turn this. Let me just do something real quick. I'll be right back. Do not log off. Okay, guys, I'm back. I had to close something in the background. It was stopping my battery from charging here, and I don't want to, you know what I mean, get off here, whatever. One other little conversation I wanted to have since we talking about real stuff is this right here. And I'm gonna have this conversation a little bit further later on, but I want to talk about something that really stuck to me because I put up a video the other night where there was this black gentleman in the and you guys can see it right down below. And this is one of those videos that it's getting some traction now. You know what I mean? But please share that video. There were these two older black women that were in the grocery store, the local grocery store that we go to out where I live at. And there's always tons of people in there, black, Latino mostly. And so I'm in there. I'm gonna sprinkle a white folks here now. So I'm in there spending my little $35 because, like I said, please hit up the Cash App, $STRINGERBELL 80 Stringer Bell 80 on Cash App. Make sure y'all hit that up. There's also a PayPal link and a GoFundMe link in the description box. So I'm in the grocery store, whatever. The other day I was mad, so the way I said it was maybe a little bit brute. But basically, these two ladies, they were taunting anyone that they found, in my opinion, that they found actual reality attractive, or anyone that they found in actual reality as being a threat to them somehow or another. I don't know what this ideology these ladies had in their head, but they started to eject that energy on a single father. And this is not the first time I've seen this. This is why I was upset about it, because I've seen it previously multiple times and I never said anything about it. But there's something about when fathers have their kids, and I've heard white men say this too, that you get this thing from certain types of women, right? And sometimes it could be a taunting thing. Sometimes it could be, their suggestions and presumptions and opinions. I get that, ladies. You know what I mean? Oh, that baby gonna fall out. Pick him up. Something like that. But this was beyond a toddler. This was like an 8 or 9-year-old. And these ladies, they sat there and how they taunted this man. They started talking about them. They were talking about him in an octave that obviously they wanted him to hear. You see? And so I approached this cantankerous fucking rather raggedy of a woman. Rather raggedy of two women, excuse me. And one of them having to be built like, I swear to God, this woman was built like SpongeBob SquarePants. Listen, I done dated BBW? I done dated BBW girls. I done dated thick girls. I done dated a girl with a little extra pouch on or whatever. I don't give a shit, she fine, you know what I'm saying? But it's another thing when you bad built. That's another thing. Bad built can be taken care of, in my opinion. Being thick, that can't necessarily be taken care of in one punch. But being bad built, this will take going to the gym. Listen, I had a little stomach. I ate too many cookies and ice cream this past winter. I worked that shit the fuck out. I was like, I'm not gonna walk the fuck around here with a belly looking like I'm in my 3rd trimester of pregnancy and shit like that, because people ain't used to seeing me like that. They used to seeing me in shape. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it is. For somebody else that's in that predicament, that's different. This is a bad shaped woman. So I was like, how do you have the audacity to sit here and make fun of this? And they do it specifically to well-dressed men, in my opinion. They do it to well-dressed men. And I don't know what it is, but this is the meanest attack, taunting shit I've ever seen in my life. I'm like, how could you be that fucking evil? So I went off on these two bitches anyway. I went off on these two cackling bitches because I said, you're elder black women. These women were 55, 60 fucking years old taunting this black man as he was with his daughter. Well, these will be the same women, and I put the CDC demographics in there for you to see that they said black fathers are some of the best fucking fathers in the United States. You can go look that up right now. And the way I found it, and that's why I kept it in there, and there's a link to the CDC within the article, it's from Forbes magazine. They ran this article 3 times. And I know a whole bunch of daddies. And just like Cat Williams said, I know a whole bunch of single fathers, believe it or not. Some of these women out here ain't shit. I know a woman right now that put a bet on everything with a motherfucker with a car, cocaine, and motherfucking dreams. And left her whole motherfucking family. And ain't never been back. And that's word on everything. Shout out to my G Mark for holding it down. You know what I'm saying? I know he ain't gonna give a shit, so I tell you how I held it down. You know that joke by Cat Williams? He said, "Daddy, you bought all this for us?" He said, "Where you get all this money?" or something like that. He said, "No, baby, that's Daddy's weed money." You get me? And so he took care of his kid, though, and this man was obviously taking care of his kid. So that's why I was offended by it. There's a lot of, in the growth of the black women's toxic corner of feminism. I'm not talking about feminism. I'm talking about the toxic corner of them. Each demographic, each race has got their own little toxic corner. With a contrived of a whole bunch of chicks saying shit that other chicks in the court and in attendance with them will say, "You ain't making fucking sense right now." You know what I'm saying? Other chicks will say, "You ain't making fucking sense right now." You know what I mean? What you're saying, you made up. But there will be this group of toxic black feminists, in my opinion. Some of them are Marxists, in my opinion. Some of them are pseudo-communists, if you really want to add. Because a communist runs around to make sure that the orders are placed and put in line and motherfucking, what's the word I'm looking for here? Make sure that the orders are fulfilled. I can't think, I'm tongue-tied right now. Enforced. And there's a lot of people, a lot of women particularly, that are doing this a lot, and it's scary. I've had women sit right in front of me, and I know other guys that have had the same thing happen, and these women will literally talk down about these guys. Like, say you walk into like Starbucks or something like that, right? And you're sitting down, you're minding your business, you ain't got nothing going on, whatever, you're paying attention to your business. Say if it's two chicks and they happen to be black or Latina, even if they like you, what they're going to do is they're going to sit down. I don't care if they're 20. I don't care if they're 30. I don't even care if they're 40. I've even seen 50-year-old women do this to me and other men. They will sit there and they will try to nitpick and find every little thing about you that they don't like or insult you and tell you, "Oh, he ain't getting it like that." I had a woman sit behind me and watch me use my motherfucker and wait to see how I was going to pay. Was I going to pay with cash or a card? Like this crazy. So only thing I'm saying is, and I'm talking on the angle of toxic feminism. And guys, if you're just now tuning in, this is the New York City skyline as it's sitting right now. I'm kind of letting you guys see it as the sun goes down. This is one of the highest points in New York City that I know. So I wanted to come over here and show you guys. I went to the Bronx. I was in the Bronx earlier. I filmed over there. There was actually flakes falling down from the sky over there, and other people reported across the city. I've got, of course, people from the tri-state right now that are witnessing the same thing. So if you're wondering what you're watching or why you're watching the sky here, that is the cause and the effect. All this is coming from the 130 forest fires that they have simultaneously going on in Canada. Simultaneously. Probably set by Dirty Mike and the boys, them motherfuckers. Y'all know who Dirty Mike and the boys are? Y'all gotta watch that movie with what's my guy's name? Will Ferrell. And I think, who else is in there with him? Was it The Rock was in that movie? Samuel Jackson. They jumped out the window at one part of the movie. It was crazy. Oh man, I got some news that just came in. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. I got some news that just came in. I'm gonna talk about it in a minute. I might have not to log off this or whatever before I talk about it. I think that's what I might do. Guys, don't be fooled, man. There's a lot of chuck going on. A lot of people ain't doing their due diligence, and they taking donations and shit like that for people. So the only thing I'm saying is, and I'll just leave it with this, because I don't feel like even talking about that rest of that shit anymore. Because sometimes I cut the story, and a lot of people ask me why I do that. Sometimes I cut the story because this is not of that much importance to me like that. You know what I mean? Sometimes you can just end the story and be like, all right, they get it. They get it. I hope you get it anyway. That's how I'm used to talking, so y'all have to excuse me sometimes. But this, in closing, guys, start using your outlets for something better. You know what I'm saying? Besides gossiping and picking at each other and calling this one out and trying to fight this one or whatever. I'm telling you, one of these days y'all gonna do that shit and somebody gonna show up. A lot of these people you talking about got a lot more money than you do and don't sit in their bedroom like you do in Toledo, Ohio. Pembroke, Nebraska. You understand? So they got money to reach out and touch you. Who do we know in Toledo? You know how many people, you want me to be honest with you, you know how many fucking people I know could have fucking got this off the strength of me. I know your personalities. And what I mean by your personalities, I don't mean your character necessarily. I mean who you display online. I know your individual names. I know you as vloggers or whatever the case may be. Because so trust me, if I wanted to get in contact with one of these artists, it would be very easy. It'd be the click of one call probably. You understand what I'm saying? In most cases, it may take me two, but the click of one call most of the time of all the people I know. Some of the same people in the music business a bit was in face and sitting in positions. The majority of them are still there. You guys have got to start using your outlets to do something better here. And I'm trying to encourage you, and I hope you encourage other bloggers to do the same. Start going out and start really doing some reporting. Start going out and start talking about issues that really affect you in your neighborhoods, in your communities and stuff like that. Start talking about the kids, man. I ain't even talking about the babies. And this kid's getting shot every day in New York City and here. And I'm going to talk about something else. Speaking of attacks, there was two of them here in New York just recently. There was one in Queens, and there was a crazy one this past Sunday, which I was almost getting ready to come down here with some one of our nutty denizens running amok. Y'all know how I talk. Running amok. You know what I'm saying? Being irate. Some crazy broad went around and she smacked about 8 people. Black female. Disturbed black female, mentally disturbed, but embarrassing at the same time. You know, one motherfucker do it, they think that's all, oh, they all crazy. Oh, you didn't know that? You didn't know that? Yeah, let me tell you something that's being half an immigrant. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm saying this all African Americans specifically. There are people coming to this country right now that within the confines of their own country, they were racist. Within the confines of their own country, they went against people of color. And specifically, they look like me. Negritos, tú sabes, negros, tú sabes la gente latino, no. Mas salud la toda gente. But at the same time, it really is. There's people in the Middle East that come to this country and they can't stand Africans. Can't stand Africans because a lot of these Africans live in their own countries. I know this. Why? Because I was with an Ethiopian woman for 3 years. Of course I know. Excuse me, I said 3 years. 7 years. They had family members that were married to other Africans, you know? So I got to see it, and they were Muslim. So I got to see it firsthand. I'm not a Muslim. To be quite honest with you, her and I wasn't even supposed to be together, only because of religious reasons alone, because I wasn't a Muslim. But we held on to it or whatever, you know. I believe in a lot of the Muslim doctrine, though. Don't let me get you wrong. Don't get me wrong. I believe in a lot of it. But yeah, so the second incident that happened was in Queens, almost a day later. And that was, again, a black woman, and she pushed the girl onto the subway tracks, which is really, really, you know, Queens is one of the last boroughs, in my opinion, and Bronx that has elevated platforms for the subway. Everything else pretty much is underground. And so, and that's from construction, and just a little history buff here. As for construction, you guys can look this up on your own. That's from deconstruction, actually, of previous constructions they had when they initially built the subway system here in New York City. Actually, at one time, the majority of the platforms in New York City were elevated, believe it or not. There was an elevated platform right on 42nd Street. For those that know and got a grandmother here, whatever the case may be, she'll be able to tell you that. So great-grandmother, she'll be able to tell you that story. They took most of these bridges out around about the mid-1950s, 1960s. But if you do a quick Google search, you'll see for yourself elevated platforms, put in elevated platforms in New York City, elevated subway platforms in New York City. So she pushed this girl off the platform, whatever, and I said, damn, that's 2 black women doing that. And it led me to a conclusion of something I said. Many of y'all know Zoe Williams. Shout out to Zoe Williams. He's still 5150. Shout out to Corey Holcomb. Shout out, Marcus. Shout out to Craig Fax, California. Shout out to y'all. Love those guys over there. I've been to 3 Corey Holcomb stand-ups. Memorably enough, I got to see the last one, which was last April at Caroline's. They closed Caroline's down since. It's a damn shame. But moving on to the conversation, I presented this to Zoe in an inbox. And you know, Zoe responds in his own way, but he responds. So shout out to Zoe Williams, because he been doing this shit longer than, little do y'all know, I really get a lot of this from them. I really get a lot of this from them. I gotta pay him. I'm definitely gonna say Star. I'm definitely gonna say OG Mac Drama, who I started with on the radio out in Arizona. I'm definitely gonna say shout out to him. I was with OG Mac Drama for like a year and a half, almost 2 years. You guys can go look those up. OG Mac Drama and Davin Lewis. Blog Talk Radio. He's still in motion right now, so y'all go check him out anyway. You know what I mean? Tell him Davin sent you over there. You know what I'm saying? From Bad Boy, he gonna know what you're talking about. I hosted the show, him the DJ. I forgot what Shorty's name was. She's an older chick. Shout out to her. But yeah, man, we did some moves over there, man. We interviewed a lot of people, man. We interviewed Rick Ross and his nephew, MC Bree's daughter. We interviewed a lot of people over there, man. Twister, a couple other people. But and we did this radio wise, you know what I'm saying? So feel free to go look those up. OG Mac Drama, Davin Lewis. I always got to plug something like that involved me, you know what I mean? Because I've been doing this for a long time. But as far as getting on the camera, that's a whole different ball game. You understand what I'm saying? And so when I got on the camera, it was different because with Blog Talk Radio, it was just audio. So Corey Holcomb, Troy Terrain, Star, shout out to Star, Jersey Crazy Fuck. Who else can I say definitely gave me influence on that? I don't know. I'll follow that up. I want to continue the conversation though. So it brought me to a conversation I wanted to have with Zoe Williams, and I wanted him to bring up because he has a larger audience than me. I got a lot of people, but he got way more than I do. I'm only in the 5 digits. You understand what I'm saying? And so it was about how women are becoming more violent. And I'm going to talk about this a little bit more in depth because what I'm seeing, well, for one, I went to the Department of Justice, and what I found out was since 2011, women are being convicted. Initially, they were being convicted of mostly drug crimes, crimes of passion. Now, there's a heavy index of women being convicted of murder, first-degree assault, attempted murder. And this has been going on concurrently since 2011. You can go see for yourself. The women's population, jail population, has increased from 2011 to 2023. And so what I repeatedly keep seeing on the news, and I think it's a mix of different things there. Because I do think some of these girls are abused. I think some of these girls get with some suckers. I think some of that nigga that want to come live on your couch for a month, eat up all the kids' snacks, but don't help out with shit. That motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? You be like, I love him. I love him. This motherfucker ain't got $15 in his pocket if y'all need an Uber. It is what it is. You understand what I'm saying? Go get yourself right, nigga, then come back and date. That's what I would tell any motherfuckers dating my sister. Oh, y'all won't stay here. Now, she can stay here. Listen, you can stay here too, but it's gonna be one condition. You know what I'm saying? You gotta get up, you gotta go out, you gotta do something, man. You know what I'm saying? You can't be over here, with Dude Dirty playing Madden all day. I think it's a lot to do with a lot of these women being abused. I think of a lot of them, especially in the tri-state area and major cities, a lot of these women are used. I mean, they're used. I got 2 sisters. I can't sit here and cap. So a lot of these women are used. And it can provoke a reaction like that. Now, if you need some examples, and I know many of y'all have seen this shit too, so I'm not making anything up. Women are hitting men with cars nowadays as for sport. And I'm talking about black ones, white ones, Latin ones. That's unilateral with that one. That's just the gender. You know what I'm saying? But if you ask why I put my focal point on Latin and black women, I mean, that's my demographic. That's my demographic. I can talk about whites, and I do talk about whites in many situations. I go to bat at whites unlike y'all do. I call out the Lloyd Bonebirds. I call out, what's that other fucking evil bitch's name? Jesus Christ, I can't think of her name. It's Marjorie Taylor. What the fuck her name is? That fucking dope. She was a chick everybody in high school used to joke. Oh, no, not high school, middle school. Everybody in middle school used to joke the fuck out of her. Be like, hey, what's going on, guys? Hey, Marjorie. oh, hey, Marge. You know what I mean? That little yappity mouth, little fucker. She needs some good sex in her life and a hug. Somebody go over there and hit Marjorie Taylor Greene off real good. I kind of would. I can't even hold you. She's not an ugly woman. She's actually kind of hot compared to Laura Bonebird or whatever you ever say her name. She's like, oh God, there's nothing attractive about her. She's like a little squeaky little broad. Hey guys, what are you doing? Did you know that there's all kinds of genomes and all kinds of stuff like that in the food and blah 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 blah. She was that motherfucker at school. Go. You know, hey guys, no, you can't sit with us, Laura. That's who Laura Boebert was. But I'm intrigued and I'm interested in this. Like I said before, back to the premise of what I was talking about in the conversation here, I'm intrigued and I'm looking more and more into this increase with women being violent. So I got a little piece I'm gonna do for y'all tonight. And like I said, it's in the thousands of stories I've heard now. I mean, if it's from infanticide, which is killing off their own children, to hitting men with cars, to slashing men's necks at night, to shooting them in their sleep. And most of it, you want to hear a funny thing about it? Most of this behavior is coming from only major cities that are deplorable conditions. And most of the stories that I seek and find out are from Detroit. And I can understand why it's probably like that in Detroit, because Detroit looked like fucking North Jersey. Oh, God. You ever go to Trenton in one of the places, or I've been to Baltimore too. Baltimore's the same thing. I got a clip I'm gonna put up for y'all. Yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene, that's right. I got a clip I'm gonna put up for y'all of when I was in Baltimore or whatever. Y'all can see all the fucking abandoned buildings. They were selling the buildings down there for like fucking $100 on the pot. But you gotta live in it. And then the next 5 or 6, they're like row houses, And so they're side by side, they all look identical. It's like, I wish I would move into this shit. Goddamn baseball team. Don't shout at Baltimore like that. Shout out to y'all, but I wish I would live in that shit. Now, they got some little small towns around. Let me tell you this quick story about Baltimore. A recap about Baltimore. Not recap. We were sitting downtown by the harbor down there eating. They actually have a World Trade Center building in downtown Baltimore, across from where that little Unirail and the Amtrak station is. I think it's an Amtrak station right there. But they have a local Unirail that goes back and forth, kind of like the same way I saw with the Green Line they had out there in Arizona when I was out there in Mesa and Tempe. Shout out to Mesa and Tempe. I'll be back out there. But not right now, though. It's hotter than a motherfucker. You fly in a fucking Sky Harbor Airport right now if you want to. It's like, yo, it gets so hot. That's the first time I ever seen a motherfucking garbage can melt. Ever in my life. I saw a melted plastic every day for your building trash can melted on the side. It gets that hot out that motherfucker. Shout out to Arizona. Not in the summertime though. Fuck you. But Baltimore, nah. They have an area down there. So we were down there eating. And the dude told us, he said, yo, listen, this was the cab driver told us some shit too. How long y'all gonna be here? Y'all be safe now. We had people at the restaurant. It's alright till it's around about 8 o'clock. That's when them niggas come out. Uncle Elroy said that shit. He said, it's alright. You wait till about 2 o'clock. That's when all them niggas come out. They be up here. Dum, 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 and all the crazy white folks are thinking about, shooting up the next motherfucking job site and shit. My mama ain't give me a hug. Boom, 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 boom. My daddy didn't love me the right way. Boom, 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 boom. That's the most pussy move ever. You do a drive-by, which the Italians in Chicago invented. I always like to point that out. Al Capone invented the drive-by. If you matter, and I'm not saying it's right, but, Al Capone invented the drive-by. He is the originator. I'm going to get up out of here, guys. I just wanted to say, take care of yourself and be good. I'm not going to get too much on track or whatever, because, I like to talk, man. I don't need to stay in one place or whatever. I think that's so fucking boring. I think we should talk about multiple subjects, and that's just me. So I'm glad you enjoyed what I did here. I will be back with you guys later. I got to let this damn phone charge anyway, so I will talk to you guys in a very few. Be good, love yourself, and if you're just tuning in, make sure you go back to the beginning of this, but I'll give you one more quick view before I get out of here. This is the New York City tri-state and how the air is looking right now. And right now, it is completely dense with smoke from Canada. of all places. 130 forest fires going on simultaneously, probably set by Dirty Mike and the boys. But as you can see, in comparison right there, just where the bridge is, you can barely see the bridge as it goes over. This is not fog, don't be mistaken. This is smoke. Now there's a rumor the smoke is supposed to dissipate. I highly doubt it within 2 to 3 days. It's not gonna happen. But guys, I'll keep you tuned. I might go to another barrel. If I don't go to another barrel, because I'm racing against the sun right now. As you can see, it's setting. You see how bright red it is from all that smoke. So I wanted to make sure you guys saw this. It's an earlier video too. You guys go make sure you check that out as well. Here's another viewing angle. I mean, it's even almost hard to see the buildings over there. So this is pretty billowed out with smoke everywhere. So we'll see what happens. I'm racing against the sun right now. Let me turn this around. I'm racing against the sun right now, guys. So, you know what I mean? I don't think I'm going to go to the next one. I didn't know this was going to be that long. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back with you guys or whatever. Like I said, when I get them donations, man, I make sure I spend the money on giving y'all something and entertaining y'all and telling y'all stories, things like that. And if you pick through the litter the things I say, because I have to say them a certain way, you'll get what I'm saying. I'll be literally giving y'all motherfucking shit that motherfuckers charge for. You know what I'm saying? I might have to start the consultation group. That's what I'm saying. I got 17 years of experience in the music industry. What the fuck do you think I don't know? And that's the problem I have. Y'all rather listen and donate to people and talk about the music business and don't know a single motherfucker. It's beats me. And I know they don't, because they was never in none of the places we went. You know what I'm saying? Any year. And I know they're not there now, because I know people that still do those locations every year. Memorial Day weekend doesn't change. All-Star weekend doesn't change. Usually the same people that have the same invested time in all these different programs and things like that, they're there every year. They're there every year. So you can't josh me and say, I'm in the game. You don't know no fucking body. And the people that you're interviewing, if you think you know them, they're lying to you, most of them. That's what I wanted to finish off earlier. If you don't know, now you know. A lot of people are coming to you. I just want to recap that so y'all know that too. A lot of people that y'all interviewing, they're coming to y'all. I said this earlier. If you go back and watch a rebroadcast, you'll get it. But a lot of people that y'all are listening to, and they have these interviews in places like that, people are, and listen, if you're an artist and you're not this professional, formerly a Bad Boy Entertainment, but still Bad Boy Entertainment, I'm telling you, when you go get interviewed by these YouTubers, and I'm saying this as a YouTuber with 3.6 million views, and I did it in a very short amount of time. When you go get interviewed by these motherfuckers, do not divulge the truth. It's not going to pop you off. Nobody's going to want to buy your album now. Nobody's going to go buy and catch out your old records or whatever. Like, nobody's going to do that based on that fact alone. So I'm trying to tell you, artists and people that I know in the music industry, please stop going to these bloggers that's in their bedroom and they got you on Zoom and you in your multi-million-dollar home in Calabasas, Miami, wherever, and letting these strange folks get a rush. They getting more of, how can I say, they getting more out of interviewing you than you getting out of them. You understand what I'm saying? Like, if you really want to segue it, you got to take those people that come over there, and you got to be like, first thing, you got to make sure that they put your link in there so they can find you on your page. The second thing you got to do is you got to make sure the audience knows repeatedly, in my personal opinion, that you're there based on you were paid. And a lot of y'all sit back and act like y'all ain't got to pay that fee to get a lot of these artists. That's why they go in so atrocious. Y'all paying fees to get. Amber Rose right now, I think, charged $30,000. Who the fuck give a fuck about Amber Rose? But she charges 30K. You get what I'm saying? So a lot of these bloggers, believe it or not, especially the higher bloggers that got a high CPM rate and they getting money. You understand what I'm saying? Trust me. You know what I mean? Y'all fucked it up. So my partnership with AdSense got messed up for a minute. But we back on track. We back on track. Don't you worry about it. We back on track. Make sure y'all hit up the Cash App, $STRINGERBELL80. If you do not have Cash App, you can also hit up the GoFundMe. Support the channel, man. Support the channel. Stop going to these bloggers getting interviewed. If they don't have, just remember your media training. Within the first 10 minutes, if they ask you something insidious, if they ask you something that's too personal, Be able to stop them or have clauses before you go talk to these people. Because trust me, as a YouTuber, I know certain types of YouTubers, and what they do is they go in it with insidious intentions. It's the same thing that happened to Jaguar, same thing. Remember your media training if you ever had it. And if you haven't, go talk to your record label, your manager, or whatever. Tell them, yo, I need to be prepped for media training ASAP. I ain't got to worry about the regular media because they know there's a threat of embarrassment. A YouTuber don't give a fuck if they're embarrassed. Who gives a shit? They still fuck with me. They'll forget all about this in 3 weeks. And with that, I'm out.